Hi students, welcome to second year commerce class. Previous class we are learning about principles of management. We have completed up to 6 principles. Let us start with the seventh principle. The seventh principle states that remuneration of personnel. Who are personnel? Personnel means the employees. Okay. Personnel of the organization means, personnel means it is the plural of person. Persons. So that is why whenever you go to large business organizations, they say it is personnel department or say HR department. In the modern language, we are saying it as HR department, human resource department. But sometimes they call it as personnel department also. Personnel. Person means one. Personnel means more person, more people. So employees. Remuneration. Remuneration means salary. Remuneration means salary. This principle states that every employee of an organization is to be paid in a justified manner. That means you pay remuneration according to their work. If employees are exploited, that means they are underpaid. So quite naturally they will not have peace of mind, they will not have any dedication, commitment towards the organization. This is very much, it is a quite reality. People should work, employees should feel that, many times I told you, they have to work from heart. Yes, they should feel that this organization belongs to them, the organization is taking care of their welfare. If the organization grows, their individual financial benefits also will increase. Their position also will be increasing, will be elevated to higher positions. So, on par with organization, they are benefited. If such feeling is there for the employees, they will work in a good manner. They will give their heart and soul for improvement of the organization's results. Unfortunately, the other hand, if the management tries to squeeze their salaries, means pay less and take more, in such a case, employees work under a dissatisfied mode. Ultimately, that may damage the result of the employee organization. See, when employees are not satisfied with your remuneration, what they will do? They will think about the other opportunities. Yes, when there are no other opportunities, they may continue with you. But as soon as they find a better opportunity, definitely they will leave. So what happens? You will lose a committed, experienced employee. So ultimately that will have a negative impact on your output. For example, you take a college or a school, a best teacher or lecturer is not paid proper salary. Yes, for some days he may be working because he does not have any opportunity outside. But once he finds a better college, once he finds a better school, he will leave the college. And ultimately what happens? You are losing a best lecturer, you are losing a best teacher, you may be losing a best doctor in a hospital. So ultimately you cannot provide better service. So in a short run, by duping the employee, by cheating the employee, you may save some salary, you may save some little amounts. But in the long run, definitely it will have a negative impact on the success of the organization. Many times we see in Twin Cities, various hospitals run only on the name of the doctors. So and so doctor is working over there, he is very good, so let us visit that hospital, people will go. Imagine if that what doctor is not providing the service over there, so people won't visit, so that hospital will not have any revenue, so ultimately they have to close down. So many organizations are like that. In the past, even the colleges used to run on the goodwill of the lecturers, Unfortunately, nowadays the present students don't know the value of the lecturers, but around 15-20 years back, even a decade back, many colleges, students used to join a particular college only for the lecturers. They were not bothered about the name of the college. They were not bothered about the brand. In so and so college, maths teacher is good. In so and so college, chemistry teacher is good. So like that, in the name of the lecturers, in the name of the faculty, students used to take the admission into those colleges. In that so and so college, accounts is very good, commerce is very good. Like that, lecturers used to have a lot of reputation in the market, So by the reputation of the lecturers, colleges used to get the admissions. But unfortunately, in the present scenario, students don't require quality. Okay, they don't want to study in a better manner. They want only time pass, short term. What we say is ready-made education. So they don't ask for a good quality coaching. Naturally, colleges are also not bothered about the senior lecturers. So, but in the organization, for example, you take a pharma company, you take a restaurant. So in the restaurant, there may be a good master for dosa or some biryani. So he was making good food. Naturally, people used to visit that restaurant for their favorite food. But unfortunately, if that master is not paid properly, if he leaves the job, so automatically that hotel will lose the market. Okay. So various cases that we see in various organizations. So that is the reason to avoid that problem. Mr. Henry Fayol states that he has given a principle that employees have to be paid properly for their work. Whatever the work you are taking, for that you pay the justified price. That is what called as remuneration of employees or personnel. Then comes centralization. What do you mean by centralization? When decision making authority is rested in the hands of only few people, it is called as centralization. Decision making is in the hands of only few people. Not everyone takes at different places. Everyone will not talk. Everyone will not take their own decisions. We will receive commands only from the top management. So as I already told you, we have got 3 levels of management. At the top level, the decisions are taken. What is going to be done? What are our plans? What are our strategies? They are prepared by the top level management. So only top level management will take the decisions. At top level, how many are there? Only few people, like general manager, chief executive officer or managing director, etc. Only few people are there. They decide what we have to do. Not at everyone, at every department will take the decisions. As I told you, we have got various heads: purchase manager, sales manager, marketing manager, production manager. Okay, these people will not take their own decisions. What they have to do, that is decided by the top people. So that is called centralization. When centralization is there, the advantage is we can save time. Okay, if everyone starts taking their own decisions, okay, it will delay, and in the process of discussion, okay, sometimes due to lack of experience, you may take a wrong decision, and everyone starts giving their opinions. That may lead to so many troubles. So centralization will have some advantage. So that is the reason Henry Fayol states that in the management, to certain activities, yes, at less important aspects, you may go for decentralization. But with respect to the matters of importance, there must be centralized power. That is what the 8th principle of Henry Fayol. Then comes scalar chain. Scalar chain means every employee should know who is his boss. Okay, there must be some hierarchy of employees. Like you should not break the chain. For example, in a college, principal, then vice principal, there may be some in charge, then lecturers, senior lecturers, then junior lecturers. This may be the order. So here, whenever junior lecturer has got when he is answerable, he should be answerable to senior lecturers only. JL should not directly approach principal. Principal may be answerable to director. Director or correspondent may be there. So here we should have this proper order. Junior lecturer is answerable to senior lecturer. Senior lecturers are answerable to in charges. In charge is answerable to VP, vice principal. Vice principal is answerable to principal. Principal is answerable to director. This order should be there. Because we are not confused we should not be confused to whom we are accountable. Directly if the director and someone comes to jail and they will give the task, means it is difficult to perform. And once you complete your task, to whom you are reporting. You want leave, you want some, okay, permission, you want some favor, whom you have to approach, you should know. If there is no clarity, just I have given the example of this chain, various levels. You take in police department, you will find constables. Okay, then we will have head constable, then we have sub inspector of police, then we have circle inspector of police, then we have deputy superintendent of police, then we have commissioners, assistant commissioners, commissioners, like that. So it is called hierarchy. So directly this constable cannot go to DSP. A DSP cannot order constable. Suppose some work is there, so DSP will order his next subordinate, circle inspector, from so and so police station I want this report. So this circle inspector will call that particular police station's SI. SI either inform the head constable or directly is constable. Like that they have got the access. So it looks silly when the assistant commissioner calls on constable or constable approaches an assistant commissioner. You can't do like that. Okay, you can't get better result out of that. That is called a scalar chain. That means we have got the proper hierarchy of employees according to their position. Then comes order. It is very important. Here, order is not to command. Give your book, take the pen, write examination. This is called order. This order is not that order. This order is the systematic arrangement of things. Right thing at the right place at the right time. That means this principle states that everything should have a place for itself. Everything should have a place for itself. For example, I am taking these online classes. So when I have to take the class, if this phone or say recording system is properly arranged, books are there, markers are here, board is in a position, I can come and I can start taking the class or say recording the class. Imagine if this board is not fixed, markers are somewhere in the shop, textbooks are in the cupboard, they are not seen, mobile is with someone else. And when I come to the campus, so if I start searching for mobile, for textbooks, for markers and fixing the board, will the class goes on time? Can I complete my task in the given time? Absolutely no. In place of completing syllabus in 4 months, it may take 8 months. Because a lot of time is wasted in arranging the things. See, many times I have told you, practically last year in the offline classes, that many students do not reach the college campus on time because they do not have the things in the order at their home. They don't find their books. Where is the pen? They don't know. They don't have the idea. Where even while going, okay, for college there is no uniform or say there is no shoe, etc. But when you go to school, one don't find the socks, one don't find the shoe. Morning they will be searching. School van comes and making the sound in front of the home. Still we make the driver wait for us. Why? Because our things are not in order. We don't know last evening where we kept the lunch box. Even many students are like that. Many young generation students are like that. That is the reason the people are not getting proper result and they are not achieving the proper positions because we so lazy, so no idea of placing the things in order. Okay, it is your individual life. You don't come to college on time, you don't reach the school on time, you will struggle. But in the organization, if the things are not in order, the entire organization will struggle. So every employee should have a proper place. A cabin should be there. All his files must be kept in a proper place. His computer, his internet service, everything must be set. So as soon as he comes to office, he can start working. If the things are not in order, the employees cannot perform. So that is what the 10th principle says, that the things must be set in order so that employees can effectively work without wasting their time. Next, equity. Equity means you treat all the employees in an equal manner. Don't show partiality in giving treatment in respect of sanctioning leaves, payment of salaries. Okay, for all people you may not pay equal salaries. According to their service, according to their experience, you may be paying. But don't give don't ill-treat. It simply says that don't ill-treat the people according to their cadre. Like for example, you pay a senior lecturer on time on 1st and I am on 15th. It is not like that. If you are paying salaries to all employees, okay, maybe for the senior lecturer you may be paying 50,000. For IMI you may be paying 10,000. That is their cadre, okay. But when you are paying salary to senior lecturer on 1st, pay salary to IMA also on 1st only. When some festival is going on, something is going on in the college or in the organization, give equal treatment. Means rules and regulations, whatever we follow, that must be same for all the employees in each department and in each branch. So if you start distinguishing that so and so employee is superior, he must be favored, he must be troubled, such type of ill treatment will spoil the work culture. There may be different groups, so that leads to split of employees into various groups. That is not good. So like say for example, in a college, if you give importance to MSc students and the CSCs are neglected, they are not taught properly, will it look good? No. So give equal importance to all. See that all students are ours. Similarly in organization, all employees belong to the same organization irrespective of their cadre. So don't while giving some benefit, while giving some treatment, don't show the differentiation. That is the principle of equity. Next, stability of tenure of personnel. Again, personnel means employees. Stability of tenure of employees means the employees should have job security. Many times you see employee can work with peace of mind as long as he has got the guarantee of the job. For example, if he is in dilemma that I am working in this college for the month of December, whether I may be there in this college for the next month or not, if I am in dilemma, I cannot work properly because I am not accountable for the result. When the employee is guaranteed about the tenure, he will not have any second thoughts. He will not be in search of some other job. If he is put in dilemma that your job is doubtful, then he can't concentrate on work. If he cannot concentrate on work, quite naturally the output will not be good. Clear? So, to have better quality work, to get better output from any employee or any worker, first the employee and worker should work with peace of mind. How you can provide that peace of mind? One is by paying him the best remuneration possible. The second is tell him that you are with us, you are in our organization as long as you work according to the rules and regulations of our organization. Until unless there is a mistake from your side, we are not going to terminate you. आप हमारे साथ है जब तक आप गलती नहीं करते. So unnecessarily you will not be removed. If you give that assurance, job guarantee is given, employee will feel safe. Okay, he will have peace of mind and without any trouble he starts working for you. So he will do miracles for your organization. That should be there. Then initiative. What do you mean by initiative? Giving scope to come forward. Many employees, see your employees, even sometimes your subordinates may have lot of creative ideas. So as a top management, you should not feel superior that I am the supreme, employees does not know anything, subordinates does not know anything, I am going to command them, I am going to order them, I am the superpower. No. If you start in that one-way work, you are going to suppress the creativity of your subordinates. So what you have to do? Give scope to your subordinates to give their ideas. Conduct some workshops, conduct some meetings, get-togethers, ask for their opinion, give the challenge to them, ask them what we are going to do. Next year we are going to target this many profits, this many crores we want to achieve the profits. So what is your idea? So please tell. Many times you watch in movies, okay, young and say dynamic managers, dynamic employees will come forward and they will do miracles for their organization. That may be unreal, but in reality also it happens many times. So people do have creative ideas. So we should give scope. Means we have to give chance. Speak to them, tell them, you put the situation to them. Yes, this is what we are going to face in the world market. So what do you say? Think about it. Come out with your ideas by next week, and please send your ideas. Then let us think the best idea will be given so and so reward. That way you give some incentive. So people, the subordinates will feel very happy that the management is seeking their opinion. They are made as part of the management. Okay. So their idea, their opinion, their creativity is respected. So when such sort of feeling you give to your employees, ultimately you will achieve better results. So that is what called as team spirit. You have to create it. That comes only when you give participation to all the employees. In what way you can give? There are various methods. Individually you mail to employee, or you conduct various meetings. You ask concerned in charges to take their opinions, conduct group discussions, whatever it may be. So that way you have to create team spirit and say, making the employees more creative, asking the employees to take initiative in achieving the goals of the organization. Initiative means coming forward. Always at the top management as a superior, you cannot take initiative. Sometimes you require the cooperation, coordination of your subordinates also. So you give them a chance. You ask them to take initiative. So sometimes they may give better ideas. Okay, that will give you a better result. And the last one, esprit de corps. Even it may be this individual principle may be given for 2 marks. Esprit de corps means, in simple language, this states that unity is the strength. Okay. In common English, esprit de corps means unity is the strength. So as a top management, you don't adopt the policy of divide and rule. Many times this we see in various organizations, that employers, management, in order to keep their power, keep their strength in their hands, they divide the employees. They make the employees into various groups. So when they divide it, employees will develop some sort of insecurity. And they are not having the guarantee that if something is told to the management, to what extent their secrecy is maintained. If people have got the doubts, so employees cannot express their opinion about the other employees and cannot give you their ideas. So always, if suppose some employee gives you a suggestion that regarding so and so department we need to certain measures, so the management has to maintain secrecy. You are not supposed to reveal that opinion or his comment, his criticism, and don't divide the groups. So keep the employees united. So believe that unity is the strength. So to retain your power, to retain your strength, don't divide the employees. That is what the 14th principle of Henry Fayol states. Keep all the workers, keep all the employees of your organization one. So this united force only can achieve the goals. So this is the 14th principle of Henry Fayol. So with this very valuable, interesting, more useful principles of management topic is over. So I hope you understood well. You read them. First remember the side headings, then individually go on by hearting that answer. Then whatever the skills required for the employees, for the management, you try to induce. First of all, better communication, improving your confidence. That is very much important. If your communication is good, ultimately that gives you a lot of confidence. So what is the remedy to improve your communication? What is the solution? What we say is, what is the process of learning communication? Is read newspapers. Though offline newspapers are available, as most of you are having smartphones, at least digital newspapers you read regarding the industry and market. Start communicating with your friends in English. Okay, improve writing skills, presentation. So that will give you a lot of confidence, right? So next lesson we will go for functions of management. That will be the last lesson of your second year commerce.